Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a long time, hasn't it? No, it hasn't. Don't lie to me. Depending on when these go up, this may be an incredibly topical topic, or it could be a very lame topic, a very boring topic that has been done to death by thousands of other YouTubers that do it a lot better than I do. I feel like everyone's going to talk about this. This is pretty impactful stuff as far as private keeping of exotic animals is concerned, and believe me, that's just the most important thing going on in America right now. So let's get my sister back on the old webcam. Let's see if we can make something happen here. Hey, Marcus from the future here, because idiot Super Nintendo hoodie wearing Marcus in the past didn't explain why we were kind of reviewing this. I did in my first episode that we did, but because my screen recording software is the free trial version of it, I couldn't get, yeah, I'm cheap, don't worry about it. I couldn't get the actual recording of what we were doing to show up on the screen no matter how hard I tried, so we ended up having to do this, which is just a compilation of the first episode and second episode, but we'll explain that later on in the video. The reason I'm making this video, and the reason that my sister wanted me to make this series of videos, is the fact that not only do I have several years experience inside of the exotic animal trade, as far as breeding, selling, trading, and buying reptiles goes, not only in the United States, but in Canada as well. I've worked in 3 separate zoos, so I think that my opinion and the take that I have, although I still consider myself very new, especially when it comes to the keeping of them professionally, very new to this still, I feel like my opinion can kind of shed a little bit of light behind the scenes. I think a lot of people who have seen this and are like Free Joe Exotic and all the rest of it, and like, oh well, we really hate Carol Baskin, they don't know what a zoo is like to run, and they don't know what these animals are like to work with. Meanwhile, I actually have experience working with tigers. So yeah, enjoy the video.
Let's get back into this. Okay. We're having a discussion.
So, yes, we were having a discussion before I realized I was not recording anything that Danielle was saying. So, here we are. I am right now, right? Yeah, okay.
So, before we get any farther into the discussion on the Tiger King, let's just discuss the elephant in the room, which is the main reporter that they are interviewing after the fact, the Skeletor-looking dude who's always smoking. It appears that, in light of recent allegations, this guy's probably not the best guy in the whole world, so...
I'm sure. I would hate to see him in my living room, too. He's a piece of garbage. Obviously, this is why he works for a zoo as a videographer. That's literally, like, when I saw one of the people's posts about him, I was like, well, that's 100% why he is just a videographer at a zoo.
But regardless of whether that's true or not, the show must go on. So, let's talk about, first off, in my notes, I remember the first place we stopped, and it was just to have a laugh about something, was when a dude had his face pressed up against a bear's cage, and he was feeding the bear at the same time. And I just want to take this moment to consider the fact that throughout this documentary, you start to learn just how smart these big cats are. And if you own a cat, I own 3, if you own a cat, you know how smart felines are. Like, even that small, they're pretty friggin' smart. Bears do not possess the same amount of intelligence. So they're not able to really differentiate between a lot of things at the exact same time. So putting your face up to a grizzly bear while you're feeding it is probably not the smartest idea I've ever seen.
I just think anytime you get near an animal that has the ability to kill you, you just shouldn't.
So, speaking of predators, Doc, Ansel.
Hey, so I have many things to say, and we're going to go over it. However, I do want to first say, since we weren't filming the first time, that Marcus and I are insecure and broken people because we don't believe in owning a tiger or petting a tiger or anything like that with a tiger. So apparently we're broken. It's fine. I'm fine with it. There's other things in my life that made me insecure and broken, but knowing now that it was a tiger not being in my life, that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I can now identify the pain and figure it out. But
I think I'm actually going to drive the 2.5 hours to Joe's like tomorrow, just so I can not be broken and insecure, so that maybe I can understand where they're coming from. But like, yeah, no, I just kind of thought that like maybe Dad leaving was the reason I was broken and insecure. But now that I know it's because I haven't had a tiger to pet.
it's a tiger. Another thing I want to touch on in watching this, this is the second time I've watched the show. I watched it first with my boyfriend in a tirade. We just watched all 7 episodes in like 7 hours or whatever, and it was stupid how quick we watched it. So it's been fun to kind of take it in again in like a normal level of taking in a show. Everyone online is memeing. I guess they're not freaking out. It's not really a freak out. It's all about memes and everything right now. And everyone, I think, is enraged about the wrong things online when I just see the memes, or either that or just memes are better from certain people, which makes sense because comedy is better from different angles. But I think everyone's like mad about the wrong thing. I think I won't try to give away anything that happens later, but there's a lot more things in my mind to be more enraged about from Doc Antle than from Carol Baskin. It's mind-blowing, like how angry you can get at a current sexual predator who has not been prosecuted for any of those crimes, and someone who is definitely currently under FBI investigation for what he's doing to some of the things that are on his property, which you'll find out later, Marcus. But there's a lot going on there, and I feel like no one has even brought up Doc Antle. Like, it's been mind-blowing to me that nobody has brought him up really in the memes or anything like that.
The first time I saw that guy's face was in this documentary. I have so many friends that have watched these videos, have watched this documentary, and posted so many things about Joe Exotic, or about Carol, or about even that reporter guy. I have never seen Doc until I saw this. I've never even heard of him. This is coming from someone who had pretty big ties with pretty big individuals, both inside the Canadian and the United States exotic pet trade. I've never heard of Doc before in my entire life. This guy, like Danielle just said, is 100% a sexual predator. He is targeting not only young women, but younger looking women, coming onto them with a quid pro quo mindset. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe, with that one girl's testimony throughout, I can't remember her name, but throughout, and she's kind of outlining. Well, no, he couldn't remember her name. Yeah, no, because that's just another piece of meat for him. When he first walked onto the scene, the first time you kind of see him really in like his full glory, he's riding on the back of an elephant. This is on episode 1. I hate using animals. I hate using animals as a prop, and I hate especially an intelligent animal like an elephant having to stoop to that low to carry a sexual predator on its back so that guy can feel like he's the king of the world because he's got this giant pachyderm underneath him. Man, I can't stand this guy. Number 2, this woman outlines so many points in her memory where she just doesn't remember what happened. She's like, I remember a situation around this, and she outlines it. If you guys want to watch it, your discretion is advised if you guys have experienced anything like this. But she talks about, I remember the situations around this time, but I don't remember it actually happening. All I remember is that it happened. That's all I remember. And that's kind of lining up with someone who's been drugged, with someone who is not maybe in their right conscious mind while something is happening to them, which means they can't say no and they can't say yes, so they cannot consent. This man, Doc Antle, is a sexual predator, and I cannot believe this is not garnering more attention than this insane man who, as of right now in episode 2, really has no ill intention exactly that is being laid out, aside from a couple of things I'm going to be laying out here, but no real ill intention towards other human beings. He's just being memed. He's just really good for television. Meanwhile, Doc Antle is like the underbelly, this disgusting creature that's hanging on and has a god complex by controlling these dangerous animals and gets off on that. I really hate Doc Antle. And Doc, if you're watching this, come at me. Let's have a boxing match. Please. Let's do something. I don't care. KSI versus Logan Paul, you and me, let's go. I hate you.
I feel the exact same way. As soon as I saw him walking out on this elephant, I freaking hated him. As soon as I saw the way he talked about or treated women, I knew I hated him. And that's why I don't understand why all these people are hating on Joe or Carol Baskin. Joe, I can see a little bit more of. I really hate that Carol has been painted this way. There was an allegation made at the end of this episode. I do not know whether it's true, whether it's not true. I literally have no concept. But even if she did kill her husband and feed him to the tigers, is that worse than sexually being a predator for years upon years upon years, as well as other things that are alleged at the end of this documentary? I just don't understand. I think it makes good TV. I think Carol and I think Joe's feud makes good TV, and I think it makes good memes. And I think that's why their feud is taking off so much.
My final 2 points. Number one, Doc knowingly and basically putting it into action that hybrids will be bred. So hybrids with big cats have historically shorter lives and more health issues, and knowingly breeding those is animal abuse.
It's indecency, it's abuse, it's everything.
It's twisted. Yeah. It's playing God. You're trying to create a new species. You're playing God. Yeah. And then not knowing where Lahmed, it was one of the tigers at Doc Antel's place.
Yeah, I wrote his name down too. I think it's Lockman. Yeah.
Lockman? Anyways, that woman we talked about earlier, who is talking to the people who are running this interview, she talks about a tiger cub that she kind of was like first known by with Doc, as to where she was very much so in contact with this tiger cub and really showing how much she knew about tigers with this tiger cub as far as Doc Ansel was concerned. Now, this tiger cub, once he reached about like that age to when they're like, a little bit ballsy, a little bit more territorial, he's grown up a little bit, he's coming into his own head as to like, okay, I am a tiger, I'm the king of the jungle, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden he goes missing one morning and nobody can find him. And Doc says, well, I know where he is, and I gave him to somebody who will really take care of him, whatever, and then that's it. That is such a massive red flag. There's no zoo I've worked at. And I've worked at, like, or done work for a little bit of some shady joints. They were when I first got there. They, even in those times, would not have glossed over the fact that a tiger went missing.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have just told their employees, oh, I know where he is, They would have been like, hey, he's dead. Or, hey, something happened. Hey, we sold him to this person. So that if you want to, you can go see him at some point. This is such a red flag. He killed that tiger. He killed that tiger. That tiger's dead.
Yeah, 100%. He definitely killed that tiger, and that is definitely brought up later. 100%. And also, can we just talk about real quick the fact that Doc was visiting Mario, the drug lord? That's ridiculous. And that Doc came to Mario and gave him his tigers. So that's ridiculous. So either this tiger cub is dead or he is owned by a drug lord. Like, let's just think about that.
It's
100%. I personally think that cub is dead, especially from the stuff that we see later. I think Doc has murdered a lot of his animals, and I think he is going to hell for it, personally. I hope he's going to hell for it. There's people like him that I just hope are, like, there's a hell for.
And here's the thing. He went to Mario, before Mario's big cases or whatever.
He was in there in the 80s.
However,
him in the 80s with him.
And after Mario's cases, Mario has still stated that he buys cats from Doc on the regular.
That's mind-blowing, and no one is listening to it.
No one's talking about it.
Posting about it. No one cares. But they care that Carol Baskin might have killed her husband.
Yeah.
So
might have.
That's ridiculous to me.
This is ridiculous.
But this man that actually had a body chopped up on his yard, which he probably definitely did.
Yeah, let's just be real for a second. Look, dude, nothing wrong with it.
Guy that's just putting tigers wherever and definitely killing tigers and definitely sexually assaulting women. Currently, right now, free in the known world. We don't care.
Yeah, that's just like water under the bridge, bro.
That's where society is in quarantine. That's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I have to say about season 2 or episode C. It feels like a season.
These are all events.
So thank you very much for watching today's episode of What We Do in Quarantine. I don't know what I'm going to be calling this. If you liked it, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below saying what you want to see us watch in the future, perhaps. We've already got a couple of other episodes underway and a couple of other ideas in our noggins cooking just for you wonderful people at home. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember to always take the stairs. Talk to you later. Remember, I love you. If you get tired, pull over, call me, maybe take a nap. Make sure your doors are locked and you always got that thing on you. Have a good night.